Hey, Dr. Judkins.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
That counts, I guess. We're here for your 56-question interview.
All right, let's do it.
What sea creatures do you study?
I study squid, octopus, and their relatives. So these mollusks that live in both shallow and deep sea.
What's the most surprising new species you've discovered?
I have discovered some new squid species. We've been doing work offshore in the deep in the Gulf of Mexico since 2010. And we have discovered 4 new squid species altogether. And I think the ones that were the most surprising was this deep sea Bathyteuthis. It's a red, deep maroon squid. And we thought we had 1 new species. We did molecular work on it, and we found out we had 3 new species.
Can you show us any of your squid?
Yeah, I've got some squid right here to show you. So I've got a squid and an octopus that I can show you as some examples. This squid right here is one of the muscular squid we find out and about, and it's one of the omostrephids. So it can go shallow and deep. It's got some pretty good tentacles to grab food, and they get much bigger than this. This guy's about a juvenile size, and they can get to be a couple of feet long as adults.
Wow.
And then an octopus, I guess I should show you a deep sea octopus. This is Japetella. This is a deep sea octopus. It looks almost gelatinous in nature. They hang out in the water column. This is a pretty mature adult, and they don't move much. They pretty much wait for food to come to them, and they will go grab it with their 8 arms and then bring it to their mouth for feeding. So those are just 2 examples I've got of different squid and octopus. They're all sizes, they're found in all oceans, so there's lots to talk about, of course.
How'd you get started studying squid?
Yeah, how did I find the world of squid and octopus? So it's a great story. Clyde Roper is a giant squid scientist. He studied cephalopods for decades. And in 2003, I happened to meet him in an elevator by chance at a conference. So short story is that we ended up all meeting for lunch. My lack of PhD project at that point came up, and he had said, hey, if you're interested, we might be able to find a cephalopod project. So I said, yes, I am interested, and that's pretty much where the story started.
What do you hope to change while studying biodiversity in the Gulf?
We hope that we know that this is going to be more informative. We've been doing this project since, unfortunately, of course, when the BP oil spill occurred in the Gulf of Mexico in 2010. So we're hoping, of course, that our work is going to better inform what goes on the next time an oil spill occurs. There will be another oil spill at some point. So now that we actually know who's out there, we're starting to get a number for biodiversity and abundance of these organisms and starting to get their life stages. So we're getting little guys as well as the adults. So now we're getting a lot more information about this unknown world.
What's the best way people can help the ocean?
There is a lot of evidence now that it is what we're doing on land is actually obviously translating to what goes on in the ocean. So anything that can be done to reduce pollution in any way, shape, or form, right? Reduce the amount of plastics. We can reduce trash going into landfills. Anything we can do on land really does translate. Unfortunately, we're finding lots of marine debris in the deepest trenches of the ocean, right? So we know it's out there. So anything folks can do to try to mitigate that from our beaches and things like that would be super important.
What is one thing you experienced recently that you found motivating?
One of the things I've seen recently that was super motivating was I got the chance to see Jane Goodall, actually. She did a presentation in Tampa, and she stood there and talked to us for 2 hours about her work, and you could see still her passion. So that's what motivated me.
What is one thing that you're most proud of that you've accomplished?
I think one of the things that I'm really proud of is that I have been able to work with amazing graduate students. I work with conservation biology students here, and I also work with college and marine science students here at USF. And I think that helping them in their mentoring as they move into projects and early career researchers is really fascinating to me. I love to see where they go. I think that we have had a really good record in my lab of students going on to really meaningful careers in the marine field or in the biology fields that they feel that they're making a big difference. So for that, I absolutely love that piece.
Well, helping out young minds, what should aspiring marine scientists know today?
Oh, that's a good question. So for young students, whether they are a third grader, a high schooler, an undergraduate, I would tell them to get out and explore, right? And I would take advantage of any opportunity they had. So if there's chances to volunteer, if there's chances to intern somewhere, anytime you could be exposed to new fields of something you're interested in, it's going to help you rule in and out jobs later in the future, right? So in that regard, I think the more broad their experiences are, the better they're going to be able to hone in on what they're truly passionate about.
Tell us about your first experience examining a squid.
My first experience examining a squid, it was actually an octopus. And octopus are notoriously difficult to identify. And you look under a microscope, you're trying to identify this thing by different parts and shapes, and you can only do it on some of these specimens if it's the perfect male and an adult. If it's a female, you have to skip around trying to figure out how to identify it, right? With using all these little clues. It's almost like a choose your own adventure for identifying octopus. So I'm sitting there trying to identify this octopus. Mike Vecchione, my advisor, is sitting over my shoulder. First time I'm up at Smithsonian doing my work. And I'm looking at this key and I cannot identify this octopus. I'm like, what the heck? Who wrote the key? I'm like, you can't even do it. It's not a male. And Mike says, very casually behind me, I wrote this whole book. And I'm like, so that was the most embarrassing, and it was super enlightening to me. He was very cool about it and casual, like, yep, I can't figure this out. They're really difficult to identify. He did it very calmly, but I definitely learned from that point, A, how to identify octopus better, and B, to keep my mouth quiet when I am trying to do that with others around.
That's a good story to always kind of hold on to. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one.
Well, in the meantime, how many octopus and squid have you examined? Do you keep a tally?
It's literally 20,000-ish. Like, it's thousands and thousands. I have identified lots, just because, again, the nature of our work is such. We're pulling up nets all the time, and then we're identifying these squid and octopus. And again, lots of them are small, right? We're not collecting 40-foot squid all the time. So in that regard, I would definitely say tens of thousands.
When's your next expedition?
We should be going out in 2024. We'll be going out again. Our deep end grant right now is a NOAA Restore grant that is finishing up in 2024, but we have some projects coming up that I believe will be out again in September for certain, and maybe in May again for another Gulf of Mexico deep end cruise.
This is great. Let's go chat more on the water.
All right, sounds good.
This or that, beach or pool?
Beach.
Green or gold?
Green.
Fruit or vegetables?
Vegetable.
Would you rather live in the past or live in the future?
Oh, that's a hard question. I'm going to say live in the past.
Is there anyone you would want to meet in the past?
Yeah. Some of the history of oceanography folks, like some of the ones that built the first collection bottles and discovered the deep sea first.
Are you a night owl or an early bird?
Early bird.
Pancakes or waffles?
Neither.
Oh, what's your go-to breakfast food then?
Eggs. Protein.
Sweet or savory?
Oh.
Are you going sweet with the eggs or are you going savory with the eggs?
Oh. I would have to go savory with the eggs, but I do have a little sweet tooth here and there as well.
All right, how about a staycation versus a vacation?
Vacation.
Tough one. Captain Nemo or Captain Jack Sparrow?
Oh. I might have to go Jack Sparrow. Going Captain Jack Sparrow.
Between the book and the movie,
20,000
Leagues Under the Sea.
The book, of course.
Always the book, right?
Always the book for me. I love to read. It is always a book.
All right, a Mermaid Man or Aquaman?
That's going to have to be Aquaman.
While at sea, what's your go-to snack?
Oh, my go-to snack would be a granola bar, because we have to get up at really weird times. So at 2 a.m., a granola bar usually hits the spot with a Diet Coke.
What your favorite childhood toy?
My bike. We could go explore anywhere.
Superhero.
Oh, superhero. I feel I should say Wonder Woman because she was pretty amazing.
Childhood celebrity crush.
Andre Agassi.
Oh, that's a good one. You play tennis?
No. Well, I do play tennis, but I'm not good.
Artificial intelligence. You think it improves our lives or erodes it?
Jury is still out.
What is your favorite smell?
My favorite smell? Oh, it would have to be like apple, cinnamon, pumpkin in the fall.
Your all-time favorite movie?
All-time favorite movie? Spaceballs.
That's a classic. All right, how about
That's in honor of my brother. This is my favorite movie.
favorite deep sea creature?
My favorite deep sea creature. It's gonna have to be a squid, and it's gonna have to be the giant squid. Let's go for obvious.
Shark Week.
I think it should be cephalopod week. There should be a shark week, but I think we have to give love to my squid and octopus.
Water sports.
Scuba diving, best thing in the world.
Heather, when you're on a research cruise, what do you do to kill time? Or is there time to kill?
Yeah, it's a good question. We sleep, so our shifts are 6 hours on, 6 hours off for 2 weeks, usually for our recent cruises. So when the nets go down, I am taking a nap.
All right, we're on a little pontoon right now. What's your favorite movie in which there's a boat involved?
Favorite movie with a boat involved would be Jaws.
Okay, you're not gonna jinx us, are you, right now?
Never way. There's no great whites here. We're good.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What is the most random sea life fact you know?
A parrotfish poops 1 ton of sand per year.
How'd you learn that?
I'm a marine biology teacher.
If you could be any sea animal, sea creature, what would you be?
Oh, this is a good question. I think I'd want to be a tuna because I can go deep and shallow water and I can cross oceans.
You're scuba certified. What's the coolest thing you've experienced under the sea?
Scuba diving, there's been a lot. I have seen my first cuttlefish, which is a cephalopod species on the Great Barrier Reef. I've swam with manta rays off Hawaii. So there's been some really cool interactions I've had the ability to do while scuba diving.
What is your favorite place you've traveled to?
Favorite place I've traveled to would be the Great Barrier Reef in Australia.
What did you want to be growing up?
A marine biologist. I thought I was going to work out on the ocean with Jacques Cousteau.
What's at the top of your bucket list?
Top of my bucket list currently is visiting the Galapagos Islands.
How would your friends describe you?
My friends would describe me as fun, reliable, and loyal.
What do they think of the whole squid octopus thing?
They find it very comical. I provide them lots of laughs as well.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever found in the sea creature's stomach?
Weirdest thing I found in the sea creature's stomach. All right, there is this little firefly squid, only about an inch or so long. And in its stomach was an eel larva. So a baby eel was in its stomach. I love the fact that my squid are eating fish because there's always this battle among my colleagues and I on the ships of are the invertebrates the coolest or are the vertebrates the coolest? I, of course, think the inverts are. So to know that my little squid are eating fish, it's just kind of fun for me.
Well, do you eat seafood yourself?
I do eat seafood.
What's your favorite seafood dish?
Oh, favorite seafood dish? It might be calamari, actually, which is squid, as long as it's cooked properly. As long as it's cooked correctly, it's delicious.
Staying on the food front, does pineapple belong on pizza?
Pineapple? It could be on pizza. I'm okay with that.
Who's on your Mount Rushmore of marine scientists?
Oh, good question. My Mount Rushmore of marine scientists. It would have to be Sylvia Earle because she was going down doing deep sea research in submersibles. I would have to say probably Jacques Piccard and Walsh. These were two guys in the early 1960s that went down in the first deep sea submersible. Clyde Roper, because he gave me my inspiration and excitement to study cephalopods. And the last one, I'd say probably Jacques Cousteau. Again, because in my generational world, he provided lots of insights and made the ocean sound so exciting, right? So that was kind of the hook for me when I was younger.
Have you ever encountered a giant squid?
Oh, I have. I have had the opportunity to dissect giant squid. So I've dissected giant squid, probably 4 or 5 of them now, the largest one being about 23 feet long. And then one of the coolest things we've discovered while out at sea was we were out doing a research cruise with bioluminescence, and my colleague Edie Witter had a camera system down that just floats down in the deep sea and gets all this video, comes back up, and we got the first video of a giant squid in the Gulf of Mexico, so the first time in U.S. waters ever recorded at its own depth in nature. So it was extremely exciting to be able to be a part of that adventure.
Well, Heather, thank you so much for joining us for 56 Questions.
Great, thanks so much for having me. Go Bulls.